And ladies, we are live. Funky Bunch, what's going on, everybody? It is the dog, none other than Funky Dineva Ross. Well, I ain't got my wig on today, so y'all dealing with Q. And I have got what the reality TV guys have just given me a 2-for-1, baby. I got Kimmi Scott and Latisha Scott on the line. Ladies, how are y'all doing?
We're good. We are amazing.
Listen,
Spending some time with you.
I know that's right.
Sisters in here.
I am so happy to have y'all both. For one, it goes without saying, Maurice and Kimmi, I screaming from the mountaintops. They are my favorite couple on the show. And Tisha, you got it all going on. You've grown and changed the most. So we have so many questions and so many things that people want to ask. And I get 2-for-1.
Two for one, but can you handle that? Right. It's going to be a roller coaster.
It's gonna be a roller. Well, no. If Miss Wanda was here, it was gonna be a roller coaster. Hopefully, Miss Wanda ain't in the building.
She would definitely take over, and nobody else get to talk. So you need to do Wanda separate.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna do Miss Wanda separate. So listen, let's just jump in and get this party started. Share with us, the viewers, what was the nature of all of you guys' friendship and relationships before the show started?
So immediately before the show, or before in general? Because here's the facts. The facts is we've been good friends since 2014. Like kind of hanging out, doing stuff every weekend, talking every weekend, doing stuff with our kids, going out in the country on trips and that kind of thing. Right. There did come a time when we weren't spending as much time together. And in all fairness, it was around the comeback group. Mm-hmm. And so like immediately right before the show, we were kind of spending time not as much as we used to. It was maybe a dinner here and there, a kid's birthday party here and there, but it wasn't like an everyday thing. Mm-hmm. It was nothing like we are right now. Right. Mm-hmm. Nothing. But at the end of the day, we were 6 great, call every day, text every morning, hardcore friends. Yeah, it was fun.
And it's sad to see that it's somewhat dissolved, and we'll get to that. How has life changed since coming into reality TV stardom? Give me the pros and the cons.
Well, for me, I can say you guys actually saw my transition of me talking about me being a stay-at-home mom. So I was the true definition of a stay-at-home mom. Baseball cap on, workout gear on, going to the store looking a hot mess. So now, you just can't get out and look a hot mess because people judge you and people want to take pictures there. So I have to try to jazz myself up a little bit when I go out. So that is the biggest change for me. What about you, Kimmi? I think for me, it's just people knowing your name. Mm-hmm. People knowing who you are when in any other realm of the world, they wouldn't. You can go in Walmart, Target, anywhere, and you're just the same old Kimmi. Now you're Kimmi, and so that's kind of surreal to me. It's very surreal to me that there are some people I have touched positively in this short period of time who recognize you right out the gate. Yeah. And then the caveat to that, or the Achilles heel to that, of course, would be the negativity that comes from people thinking that they know who you are from a 42-minute show.
Yes.
So that part is the part you kind of got to suck down every now and then. But
that's the part that I actually hate, being in popular or social media famous or whatever the case may be, when people carry on like they know you. And
it's like you don't better than you know you.
Right. Right. Yeah. Listen, before we move forward, they're saying that the volume is low as a result of you guys' distance from whatever device you're on. Is there any way we can possibly fix that? Then if not, we'll just have to tough it through. Okay. Mike, can we get some gain on the mic? Is that possible?
Is that as high as it can go?
It is.
Yeah. So we're on the iPad. Let's bring it closer to us.
Come a little bit closer.
Hey, maybe.
Maybe he can change the angles. We can come closer a little bit, maybe.
We'll see if he can do one. Okay. Yeah.
Let me see what my options are.
That's not so bad. Yeah. You can come it a little bit closer. Just bring it over this
Wait, I'm sorry, no, this one. Wait, who's leaving the frame? Me or you? I'm leaving the frame. Okay.
Just a smidge more.
Turn the screen, not the
turn the screen. No, not the pole.
Not the pole. Tab. This way.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I think that's good.
Okay.
Is that better?
Can you hear us a little bit better now?
Yeah, they say they can hear y'all better now.
Okay.
All right, so now we're back at it. All right, so listen, we go through season 1. Y'all go do this just, reunion. We watch the reunion. We think there's some healing. We think there's some cohesion. What did you guys think the status of your respective relationships were at the conclusion of the reunion?
At the reunion, and I would mainly say between Mel and I, it was that we was like, hey, we're gonna move forward. Whatever forward means, let's move forward. So after the reunion, everything was fine. Right? We was just in our own space. I think after the reunion premiered on TV, that's when things started changing because Marsau tweeted. He was like, man, after all this wolf receipts, right? He's like, wolf receipts. So once he said wolf receipts, and the list blew up.
Floodgates.
Yeah, that's what happened. So after that, it was like, oh, you want receipts? So, yeah.
And so were the wolf receipts supposedly or allegedly whatever girl at the bar late night he's supposed to be at, was that the wolf receipts that he was calling for?
Was the wolf
the 20 women.
Right. We went all this year and nothing.
And we got nothing. So let's get into your girl, because we're going to get into the 20 women and the cheating. We're going to get into that. But Tisha, one thing that I noticed this season is that you, of all the characters, you have grown the most. Like season 1, we see you being a stay-at-home mom, doing your thing. Now you're doing galas and pageants and speaking events and podcasts and this and that. What inspired all of this?
For me, so I'm gonna take you back just a little bit. When the show picked up, like timing was perfect. When the show came on, I was actually in the process of getting my real estate license and enrolling in school. So we talked about it on the show because I was actually in the process of doing that. So I was like, I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 5 years. I have this in order. Well, it was 3 years, I think. 3 years. This is in order. So now it's time for me to start back focusing on the old Tisha, like the things that I wanted to do prior to becoming a wife and a mom. So that's where you see me actually, I had to go back and read my journals and realize, like, those dreams and goals that I wrote down back then, I still have those desires inside of me. So I was like, I'm just going to start doing it. I'm just going to put myself out there and I'm just going to do it. If I fail, I'm going to fail succeeding. So that's what you see me doing on the show. The podcast was because I struggled with my communication skills my entire life. Not only me, it's my background. It was my grandmother, my great aunties, my uncles and aunties, my cousins. So I was like, this is something I want to stop. I want to improve. Once I heard it in my daughter, I was like, it has to stop. I got to stop this. So I have to seek the help that I need so I can also help my daughter. And so I can feel a little bit, more confidence about myself. So that's what the podcast came from, because I was like, I want to make sure I have something that is forcing me to speak on every day. So that's what the podcast does.
Good for you. That's good to know. So how does Marsau fit into all of this? Because season 1, he let it be known he wasn't with you working. He wanted you barefoot cooking, picking up the kids, balancing the bills. Like what? This season, he seems to be a bit more giving as it relates to you doing some extracurricular things outside of the house. How does he feel about all of this, and what inspired the change in him?
I think with Marsau's, like most guys, they feel like as a female, you change your mind a lot. You say you want to do this, then you say you want to do that. So he was like, you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and now you say you want to go back in the workforce. So it's like for him, I had to just show him that I'm about it. I'm not just talking about it. I'm walking, I'm talking the talk and I'm walking the walk. Like I have actions behind what I'm doing. Marsau, he knows the person I am. He knows the woman he married. He talks a lot, but when he knows when it's actually time to do something, I say I'm going to do it, I am going to do it. I have always been behind the scene on our businesses. Marsau is the visionary. He has this vision. He want to make things happen. But then you have that person that's doing all the work behind the scene that don't nobody really get a chance to see. That has been me. So I've always been involved in the business, doing things in the business, but I've never like spoke about it. I've never been out in front and center about it because I just felt like it was just something you're supposed to do, you know?
And so I asked the question because, you know, the viewers lit him up season 1 about being chauvinistic, and they was like, free Tisha. They were like, wink if you need help. Like, let Tisha go. And so I was just questioning, you know, I was just questioning, is it a genuine support for what you're doing, or is it him correcting the chauvinistic image that he garnered from season 1? So that was why I asked that question.
No, it's a genuine support. Marsau is a man's man. So you see my mom. So I was raised by 6 very strong females. So the first, when I talk about the troubles we had in the first 5 years of our marriage, that was me stepping back because I was a very strong, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, I don't care woman. But I had to become submissive for my husband. So I had to not be the Tisha that I've been raised to be. I had to become the Tisha that is the wife of Marsau's. So he's a very strong man, and he truly believes in roles. But I'm switching him over a little bit, and he's coming on board. He's definitely stepping it up. He's home with the kids, cooking a little bit for them. But Marsau can cook. That's the thing that got me. He can cook. He used to cook all the time when we first started dating. But no, what you see is what you get.
You know, going to roles, I think there's room for you, me, and Dr. Heavenly to have a conversation at a later date. Me and her always have these gender role debates, and So Kimmi, this season we see this push for Maurice pushing you to quit your job. Girl, what is this about?
So here's the thing, it's really not that big of a story. I've been a nurse 18, 20 years now, and I've also been selling real estate for 6.
Okay.
So I've been doing both in tandem is what I've been doing. Real estate at the end of the day pretty much put Jalen through school. So Jalen comes out of school with no student loans, no bills, no car note, no nothing.
Okay.
So I do well at real estate.
Okay.
However, his biggest gripe is that I do a lot. And I used to tease my girlfriends. I used to tease Tisha. When she would be home with the kids, I gotta cook dinner. And I'm like, well, T, I go to work and then I come home and cook dinner and do the laundry and change the linen and, you know, and then do all that stuff. However, Maurice is a fixer. You know, at his core, he wants to fix things. So when I come off like I need fixing, like I'm upset or I'm complaining or I'm unhappy, he feels like he wants to fix it. And in his mind, me doing one or the other is going to be the fix. Because literally that wasn't for show. I show houses on my lunch break. I show houses on the weekend when they going to hang out. I'm like, I gotta show houses this weekend.
You can't come to the pool with us.
Right. So that's like real talk what I do. And so there's times when I miss out on stuff and I kind of complain or I fuss, or when I get home I'm tired. And his thought process is, instead of me complaining about the nursing job, because that's the only one I really complain about. Instead of complaining about that, just stop doing it. Like, just stop doing it and go full force into real estate, because I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I'm glad that you cleared that up, because again, we only get to see an hour-long snippet of you guys' lives, but I was filtering through a lot of the comments, and a lot of people seem to be side-eyeing Maurice because he just want that lady to quit her job so she could sit home with that child. We see what you're trying to do. And so I'm glad you cleared that up.
Now listen, he's not a sit-at-home kind of guy. So much like I believe was in the first or second season when they were talking about, you know, Marsau's trying to keep her home, Maurice intends for me to be employed.
Yeah.
So he's not saying it so I can sit at home all day and eat bonbons and make dinner. He wants me to go from one thing full time to the next thing full time.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
People think that because you're a stay-at-home mom, you're at home all day not doing anything.
You want to know something? I'm going to be honest with you. I am one of those people for a very long while that felt that way. And it was simply because I was raised in a single mom household. My mom it was three of us. And my mom made it all happen, and she made it happen effortlessly and seamlessly. So it put in me, if my mom was able to work and we turned out as well-rounded and as good as we did, then what the hell is you doing all day? You know what I'm saying? And
I said the same thing. Even when I was on maternity leave, I was like, so what I'm gonna do all day?
Right.
But no, I literally had to like spread out my stuff. I said,
right.
Okay, I'm gonna vacuum on Monday. I think I'll clean the bathroom on Tuesday. Then I'll change the linen on Wednesday because I've been so accustomed to working 9 hours
and making it happen
and doing all that same stuff.
But a friend,
a busybody and a planner, like although I was at home, that time at home actually allowed me to sit down and really think about Tisha and who Tisha wanted to become. That first year I was at home, I was going to the gym 2 hours a day. I lost like 50 pounds within that first year. I was like, okay, so I lost 50. Check that off the list. What's next on my list? Let me check that off the list too.
But you know that's a luxury, right? To be able to go to the gym. That's a luxury, Tisha. To be able to go to the gym 2 hours during the day. That's a, you know, it's funny though. It took a friend of mine who stayed at home for a while to kind of help my views evolve. And she said, yeah, your mom may have made it look easy, but it was very hard. And I'm pretty sure she would have welcomed the help and the ability to stay at home. You know, over time, I've got some other friends that have found themselves in stay-at-home mom situations. And when they talk to me about how much they invest in their children and how their husbands could not be the earners that they are if it was not for them being in the background, I've grown to garner a different appreciation for the stay-at-home mom. But I think particularly in the Black community, I think the stay-at-home mom was not a luxury that's historically been afforded to us. And so many of us, we don't know how to build thoughts around the stay-at-home mom because fatherlessness runs so rampant in our community, and we see strong Black women. You know, it's a thing, I'm a strong Black woman. So, you know, and we can't have it both ways all the time. So I don't know, but getting this thing back on track. Kimmi, what would it take you to walk away from your nursing job?
My son graduating from school.
Okay.
My son graduating from school because I pay his tuition out of my pocket. And so there are a lot of expenses that come with your kid being in college. And I never wanted that to be a thought for Jalen. I didn't want student loans. I didn't want to do that thing. And so part of the conversation I've had with Maurice is the milestone of Jalen getting finished with school, because that's a couple stacks, literally, that you don't have to shuck out every single month as far as your monthly bills and income.
Listen, I started with 40.
Security for me. It's just strictly a measure of security for me.
I dig it. And much respect to you with that student loan thing, because I started out with $40,000 in student loans after grad school. I pulled my credit report the other day, and that 40 line has ballooned to 60. That 40 has ballooned to 69,000.
100.
You know, and I'm just like, now granted, I ain't made a payment in 15 years. So, you know, I can't get mad at my payment, but I'm just like, now I'm in here like, I gotta knock this debt out real quick because this can't keep growing at this level. So shouts out to you for doing that. So I want to move into something fun.
Okay.
I call her Miss Wanda J. Blige. Okay. Wanda is she is definitely a fan favorite. But Tisha, your mama messy as all hell, and she meddles in everybody's business. Why is your mama so messy?
She's always been that way. She is that mom for real who don't play about her kids. She don't play about her kids. I can't change her. She's been that way all my life. Like growing up, I couldn't spend the night over a girl's house because she was like, they gonna try to do this or they gonna try to do that, and I ain't trying to be in jail. So she sees the show. It doesn't even matter what I say to her. She sees the show and she gonna go off of what she sees off of the show. She feels like I'm too soft. She feels like I'm too forgiving. So she's like, I'm I'm here to protect you. I'm here to cover Tisha because Tisha gonna let it slide. She ain't gonna say nothing about it. So I'ma be vocal about it. What she needs to talk about. And it's Mom, let it go. She don't listen to me either.
And it's funny because as the viewer, it does feel that way, but at times it also feels like in your silence, you're complicit in her being your mouthpiece because you don't, from what we see on camera, you don't correct her. Like case in point, I just watched the latest episode when she was in the kitchen, accusing Kimmi of throwing you under the bus at the reunion, and you just stood there, So it felt like, as the viewer, that you were actually co-signing everything that was coming out of her mouth, but you were just basically too chicken to say it. Right. Is there any truth to that?
I can see how that is coming off that way. My mom and I, we actually talked about that scene prior to, and I told her I did not have an issue with it. But after listening to her, I was like, you know what? If you feel that strongly about it, then maybe you should address it with Kimmi. Kimmi and I already addressed that, and we already talked about that. It wasn't on, we did it right after the reunion. So my mom, she was like, I want to answer too. So although I did say something to her about it, she's just gonna be herself. Like, she gonna talk over me. She gonna express it the way she want to express it. So, and that's what you guys see. But no, I'm not sitting back like, yeah, Mom, yeah, say it for me, say it for me. Right. I definitely say how I feel and what I want to say when I want to say it. I addressed it then, and I was past it by the time we started back filming.
So, Kimmi, what's your current status and thoughts on Miss Wanda? Like, where y'all at?
When I met Tisha, I met Wanda.
Okay.
And Tisha is correct, and Wanda is who she is.
Okay.
I don't believe anybody has, quite frankly, taken an effort to reel Wanda in. Because, and this is just my perspective, as a family, everybody pretty much feels like you can't. So why even waste your time? Like, because you can't. And so I get it, even with her conversation that she would like to have with me. I understand it because that's her baby. And I've made plenty of trips up to the school for my baby.
Okay.
So be very clear, I understand maternal care and instinct. However, the person that I am, I expect you to address me a certain way. Period. I could talk to you for 17 hours about whatever is pressing your soul, but I expect you to talk to me. And I don't care what age group you fall in. I don't care how you go on the totem pole. If you're my boss, if you're my subordinate, I expect our conversation to be the way that I'm talking to you. And so I love Wanda. However, I'm gonna check Wanda when she come at me incorrectly because I'm not that person. Even Maurice will tell you, even when we were having issues with Kaiwa, he would say, well, she's not gonna listen. Like, she's not gonna listen. I don't say she's not gonna listen. I'm not that person. I'm gonna fight the fight until the fight is over. I'm not gonna not say it because I think they're not gonna listen. I'm gonna say it. And I usually give people a couple of warnings that it's coming. But if you keep poking the bear,
it's definitely getting interesting and watching the dynamic. It's so funny though, because whenever Miss Wanda steps on my screen, I just get this smile from ear to ear because I just know it's gonna be some mess. You know what I'm saying? And we love it. It's entertaining. We love it. But then after the show goes off, I'm just like, ooh, this is exhausting. That must be exhausting.
And that's correct. It's exhausting, especially in my opinion, because I ride a fine line between it being someone's parent, being Wanda, and I love Wanda. I don't love Wanda less after we get off the scene and she said what she said and I said what I said. I don't love her less. Just like when I feel like if I say something to Tisha or I say something to Mel that they don't agree with, I don't love you less because I feel like I can say this. Like, I should be able to say this to my friend. I don't love you less because of it, but I'm going to share what I feel like saying at the moment. So I'm in love with Wanda. I'm in love with Wanda. I'm just not going to let
we love Wanda.
And my mom talked like that. Like I said, my grandma has 9 kids. It's 32 first cousins.
Wow.
So growing up in that household, that's how they talk. They yelled at each other, they fussed, and then
you had to fight to survive.
Right, we fought right afterwards. We get what you get.
So let's move. Let's move into episode 1. You being escorted out the party. On a scale from 1 to 10, how embarrassed were you?
I was very embarrassed. You heard me say I'm a professional.
You know what?
Embarrassed to have that on TV.
What I wanted was for you to curse that nerdy security guard out. He even looked uncomfortable trying to escort you out that place.
He was red as a beet. I said, don't touch him. He was shaking. He was nervous as he could want to be. Yeah, he was. He was so
Kimmi, what was your level of discomfort from a level of 1 to 10 during that situation?
I don't get that uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
Like, real talk.
She was shocked.
I was surprised that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so for people who even had conversation about saying Tisha shouldn't have come to talk, I didn't know she was coming, nevertheless, to talk. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was the right venue to talk.
But I wasn't coming to talk. That's the thing.
And so that was the situation, because I was about to go eat. Like, I didn't know what was happening. If you pay attention, I'm always ready to eat. That's what I like to do. Mm-hmm. And so when she came and got me, in my surprise, I was like, this has got to be a mistake. Like, Mel didn't do this, somebody else did it. Like one of her, PR persons or one of her security or somebody else did. Mel didn't do this. That was what I was thinking. And so when I said, come on, Tisha, I'm going to talk to her. The goal, she wasn't supposed to talk. And if you watch the screen, soon as she walks in, she starts. And I'm like, no. That wasn't the goal. The goal was for me to address Mel and just get some clarity on why it had to go down this way. If you want her to go, we can walk her out, but you don't have to do security. That was all I was aiming for. And Tisha just had a different plan.
Because I was embarrassed and I was upset because I'm like, first of all, if we had any type of friendship, you could have came to me, hey Tisha, I see you, this is not the time or place, we'll talk later. And I would have left up out of there. Yeah. But I mean, you're trying to make a scene. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, well, we're gonna make a scene. Then why are you having me escorted out?
It definitely was to create a moment. Yeah. It definitely will go in the reality TV history books as one of the most embarrassing, uncomfortable, cringe-worthy moments. Mm-hmm. Your dress was so pretty as you sashayed your ass right up out and stuff. She came dressed so nice to get put out.
Gorgeous.
Well,
Kimmi,
I was gonna be put out, I would have worn a better looking dress.
Okay, that part. Kimmi, how do you feel and where are you at, mentally and emotionally, just being stuck in the middle?
So here's the thing. When I look at the middle, I don't look at it being a super huge issue. I really, really don't. Because I'm really a I don't give a fuck kind of person. Mm-hmm. Like, for real. If she's bothering you, leave her alone and we'll go to, Destin this week and I'll go do something else with her next week. Mm-hmm. My dilemma comes in, even when you look on the show, Siddharth does stuff to unexpectedly bring them together. Siddharth makes phone calls. I don't do that. Every instance that you see, I just happen to get caught in the middle. Like every single time, I'm just happening to be in the middle. My only dilemma with the middle is that there are times that I feel Tisha could have done something different, and I tell Tisha, and the backlash is instantly, oh, I'm Team Mel. Right. And if I say Mel, you could have done something different, the backlash is instantly, oh, you Team Tisha. That's your sister.
Do I say that when you're
saying just in general.
In general.
I'm saying like fans and people in general. Okay, yeah. That's the only thing I don't care about being in the middle. Mm-hmm. It's as though everybody likes the girl to keep to the honey until it's your turn.
Right, until it's your turn, right.
Until it's your turn, then, then all of a sudden you switch teams. Mm-hmm. Just because I think Mel shouldn't have called the security guard, which I don't, and which I told her, it doesn't mean I just hopped to some omnipotent team. You know what I'm saying? Right, it's my opinion that I think you did that wrong. Mm-hmm. I think you did that wrong. Mm-hmm. I think it could have been handled 100 different ways. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's my dilemma with the middle. That's my only dilemma with the middle, is because I don't like how I feel I often can't continue to be Kimmi. Because if I say, it could have been done different, it just gets taken so many different ways. And so I'm just not the person to say you're right all the time, because you're just not right all the time. Nobody's right all the time.
And that's what I tell Kimmi. I was like, right is right and wrong is wrong. Don't hold me up in the wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me. And I expect the same thing when you're talking to her. If they're wrong, tell them they're wrong. You can't just say, oh, I'm team whatever, and I'm gonna go with them no matter if they're right or wrong. You have to hold people accountable. And so I've always been that type of person with all of my friends. If I do something wrong, I don't mind owning up to it, but you have to let me know, because sometimes I may not know.
You know, it's funny because I watched the scene where where Kimmi and Mel were at the restaurant at the brewery, and she was saying she felt the way that you left with Tisha. You know, and in the back of my mind, and to Miss Wanda's point, I'm thinking to myself, well, that's her sister. And her priority, family over friend. If my sister is in distress, I kind of owe it to my sister to console her.
Absolutely.
Over being at a friend's event. Was that kind of your state of mind when Tisha got put out?
This is the thing. People think I had a long, drawn-out thought process. I didn't. It was immediate. When she grabbed my arm, I'm good. We're going to the house together. Okay. It wasn't a long process for me to think it through. I just didn't feel like it was appropriate at all ever. It could have been done 100 different ways, and it shouldn't have happened like that.
That way.
The history of our relationship is that Tisha's like my little sister. She's my little sister, and I have always felt like her protector ever since I've met her. And that's not to say she needs protecting. That's just how I feel at my core as a person, as a human being, And so even when the show came, and there's been instances where I back away and I let her and Marsau do them, and I mind my business, my core is that she's my little sister. She's my little sister. And so I don't want people to ever get that misconstrued. I don't ever want you to get that twisted. You know, people will call us after the show, you good, you talk to Tisha? I'm like, I talk to Tisha every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talk to Tisha all the time. Now, we've had some conversations that you got to work your way through, because she didn't exactly like it, or I didn't exactly like it. But guess what? That's life.
That's life.
That's relationships
every day.
Right.
So, you know, I've been doing this now for a decade, 10 years, and I have watched so many relationships crumble as a result of reality TV shows. I've actually turned down multiple reality TV offers because my friends have been a part of the situation, and I'm like, history shows that we're gonna fall out, and I don't want that. Plus the money ain't that good in the beginning. But considering that you guys were once a threesome love affair, and coupled with the bounds that have been crossed, Tish, do you think that there is any hope for y'all being friends again? You, Mel, the Three Musketeers, the gang coming back together. Do you think there's any hope?
I think that there has been a lot of things said and done that has been hit below the belt that I wouldn't even do to my enemy. So I think there's room for us to be cordial in the situation, but as far as the friendship, I think that is over.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You know, I've also said in one of my videos that I think in any relationship, there are certain offenses that can be committed that just kind of make it impossible for you to go backwards. And when I look at Marsau and Martell, I definitely see some lines that have been crossed that for me would make it difficult for me to ever be that person's friend again. But I want to switch gears really quickly. I want to go to Kimmi, Kiowa, and Monster. So we watched the show this season, and there's a wake up scene, and Monster's in the bed, and we're like, oh shoot! Like Kiowa gave in, and he's there, and yay! Like, how have things changed since Monster's come to live with you guys full time?
It's kind of like when Jada was little, you know, because Jada was gone to college. Jada was gone to college, so with Monster being there, Monster is very similar in nature to Jada. He's a very mild-mannered kid. He's a loving little baby. He likes to hug. He likes to, you know, spend time with his cousins. We were always, in the last 3 or 4 years, we would come for the summer, spend time with him all summer. So it's really just kind of turning that proverbial corner as far as having him here during the school year. It took some adjusting because at the beginning of him being here, Maurice was still in school too. Okay. So he had to do some juggling to make sure he was studying and preparing for the bar. And he gets homework detail. I feel like I've done plenty homework for 21 years. So he gets homework detail. And so that part was a big adjustment. You know, trying to make sure who gets into school, who gets into football on the days he got to get picked up from football. We've had to call them sometimes, like, you know, I'm not going to make it. I got to show a house. Can you grab him from football? So it's kind of starting over and kind of getting your routine back down to make sure that all the bases get covered.
We seem to see a 360 in Kiowa. What do you think inspired this just complete change in her disposition?
I haven't talked to Kiowa much yet, and you know, I can't talk about everything as we move forward, so y'all can kind of see some stuff kind of still play forward. But I think every situation in life takes time to repair itself. And I just believe that for anything and anybody. And as a single parent, I believe it's difficult to have the concept of your marriage not working. And then subsequent to that, someone saying, I want the kid to come and live up here with me. On top of the fact that it didn't work out kind of like you wanted it. Which was really some of my angst in this whole situation, because I felt like I felt some of her pain for her, but she just couldn't see through her anger to see that I really kind of get it. Like, you know, I promise you I do. Like, I try to talk to Maurice to make it smooth, but I just kept getting jabs at every angle, and they were unnecessary jabs. And I say unnecessary because I had zero to do with whatever happened in their relationship before I met Maurice Jefferson Scott. Period. And she knows that. She knows that. I really don't care what fan knows it. She knows that. And so that part was, it hurt me. It hurt me because I didn't do anything to her. And at the end of the day, I felt for her. Because if my baby's daddy had said to me, he gonna come live up here with me, it'd have been an all-out war. It'd have been an all-out war. So I really understood her more than she gave me credit for ever.
And so you gave me a great segue into my next question, and it's just flat out, in any way, shape, or form, were you and Maurice texting, sexting, googly eyeing, flirting, whispering on the side, meet me back here, any of that while them people was married?
No, I'm going to be extremely clear, as I was with her at the table. And quite frankly, I think when you did your review after, you said the same thing. So tell me, y'all, did he have divorce papers and he just waiting for his little 3-month time frame waiting period? That's what he was. He had a divorce paper with her signature and with his signature, and he had 2 months left in a 6-month waiting period when I met him. When I said, hi, Kimmi, hi, Maurice. Now, no, I did not sex him, text him, any of those things on the night that I met him. I would like for the fans to give me a little bit of credit that I might have actually talked to him a little bit, said hi, went to the bar, got a little lunch at Chili's, That mug was sleeping with everything walking.
Give us the tea.
When I first met Tisha and Marsau, Maurice said, I want to go over Marsau and Tisha's house. And I said, I don't want to go. And he said, why? I said, because you've taken so many women over there, I don't want to be the next woman that's going over to Marsau and Tisha's house and had them looking at me like, okay, so you next.
A lot of fun.
So I'm amazed that people are saying I can meet him and sleep with him in the same breath. I said at the table when I met with her, and I am still firm, they had signed divorce papers by the two of them, and he was in his waiting period of 2 months left on a 6-month waiting period to have a final divorce.
There it is.
I don't know how to say it any different. I've said it 42 times.
There it is.
There you have it.
There it is. There's nothing else left to say about that. So then,
his marriage was long over before the last 2 months on his 6-month waiting period.
With that being said, how did you feel about that little jab that Martell slid in there, which felt abrupt? Well, because she was, they were saying she was a side chick. I was like, it even felt forced. He didn't even say it with the level of.
He didn't say it with any confidence because he knew it wasn't true. If y'all watch the show, I take some of Martell's stuff with a grain of salt because Martell is emotional.
Yeah.
And when he's in a good place, he's in a really good place. And when he's in a not good place, he's not. He knew that wasn't a fair or accurate statement. So I was unhappy that he said it. I was unhappy that he said it, and I wanted to punch him in the throat.
Oh, that's fair. So listen, when we, as the viewers, when we get used to a cast, it's kind of hard when new people show up on our turf. And then they don't come in with the right spirit, and
it's all about energy.
It is, and when Miss Girl confronted you at this event about her chicken man, and you saying you did not know them, I wanted to jump through the TV and wring her neck on your behalf. What were you thinking when she fronted you about? I still don't even know what the issue is.
So here's the thing. Some stuff is literally a surprise to us. So some stuff we actually know what you about. When you see some of the cars in the parking lot, you know what you about to get into.
You don't know what's going to come out.
But some things are actually a surprise. And so that particular conversation did take me by surprise. A lot of the conversations are edited. And at that particular conversation, what I gathered at the time was that I said I didn't know them, and I didn't. And so much like I said, I was confident in saying that because I didn't. I know Mel had tweeted, he donated to the Black Party last summer, which he did. However, we were talking about the Black Party when it happened. So the Black Party hadn't quite happened yet. So she was trying to defend her friend, but the Black Party hadn't actually happened yet. At that point. So I didn't really know why it bothered her as much as it did. But as social media started coming out a little bit more, the conversation was actually what bothered her was that he has a lot of honorable accolades to his name. However, I wouldn't know that if I don't know you. Like, I wouldn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know anything about him. I wasn't trying to demean his name or, kick him. I knew him for chicken. I had no idea he worked on the arsenal and did real estate and had investment properties because I don't know you.
You don't know.
That's the whole caveat to not knowing somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it took me aback. It definitely took me aback. I was surprised, and I typically don't do a lot of social media. So after I saw my name tagged a couple times, I said, well, let me get back in here and straighten this out. But I think everybody has a moment when they are introduced to the show. And that was
definitely a moment. So Sadark, Sadark is a character. This question is for both of y'all. I get what he's doing, trying to play mediator. I completely get it because I've been in his situation before with some of my guy friends. But do you think his efforts are helping or hurting?
I think the surprise pop-ups hurt.
Okay.
I think the surprise pop-ups hurt because I think in order to move forward, people have to be ready to move forward. And so I I personally think the surprise pop-ups hurt.
Yeah.
And I think you got to know the people that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like when we were at the cabin and Martell said, no, I don't want to do it.
Let it go.
We all believed that Martell didn't want to do it except Sadar.
Yeah.
And so you got to know your audience when you're trying to do that kind of thing. But his heart is in the right place because we've all hung out at one point. And like me, he's friends with both of them. So there's going to be times he's hanging out at Martell's and there's times he's hanging out with Marsau when there would have been all together.
And I just think it's like with the group, everybody was like, we had so much fun together. We just had a great time together. Like, can we just fix it?
And we did. Quentin, when I tell you that the six of us used to have a blast.
And that's what's sad.
When people like look at the fans, look at the show, and they're like, oh, Tisha and Kimmi are doing this, or Mel and Martell are doing that. We had so much fun as six. This show got picked up because we had so much fun as six. Right. The time, the camaraderie, the fun, the laughter, we had a good time. And so when people say, oh, Mel's this or Martell's that, Mel and Martell are fun at their core. Yeah. They're going through a lot and they're reaching out and digging at a whole bunch of people over stuff that I think belongs at the core of their family, quite frankly. But they're fun too. Trust me when I say, when things are right, they're fun too.
It's funny that you said that because the next portion in my interview notes, I want to talk about the guys for a little bit. Whose fault do you think all of this is? I mean, this whole situation has to rest somewhere. I have if you follow my videos, you know whose fault I think it is. But whose fault do you think all of this is?
I think the fault is definitely Martell and Marsau. I think that relationship right there, because Martell and Marsau became cool before all of us even started hanging out together. And so when Martell and Marsau had their issue, it really broke up the friendship. So I think that's where everything lies, right there between those two.
Kimmi, Maurice tries his hardest to remain as neutral as possible. And from what we're seeing, he's doing a pretty good job. But if you can, what are some of his intimate thoughts on just the breakdown in the relationships?
You know I don't speak for other people.
Come on and give us a Wanda moment.
But let me tell you, and I say that facetiously because in all fairness, that's what I say happened to us. Right. Because part of my bigger argument with Melody was me saying, this is what I think you did to Marsau and Tisha. You know, and I think you shouldn't have done this to Marsau and Tisha. And a lot of it was my conjecture from what I saw, what I witnessed, what I thought wasn't cool. It was my conjecture of the situation. But as far as Maurice is concerned, he likes to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And so he allows you to dig your own grave. So as long as you're not dicking around with me, you know, or him, he's going to let you kind of dick around a little bit, say what you need to say until he feels like he needs to interject because, okay, now you're going too far. Now you're doing too much. So he literally makes the best effort. Like this whole social media stuff, it makes you rethink and relook at people. Because it's one thing to have an edited version of what you said on TV, and then it's a whole different thing to get on social media and just keep going back and forth. Like, you know, just keep going back and forth. So he still tries to remain middle. And y'all just gonna have to watch that play out and see if he can hold strong. You
know, I've made friends, obviously, you know, living in Atlanta, the Atlanta housewife girls and all those. And over the years, they've said it's very hard to repair reality TV relationships because you go through it and it's filmed, then you watch it on TV months later, then all the social media stuff. Then you relive it again at the reunion. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it gets very difficult. So in closing, before I let y'all off the line, y'all know this wouldn't be a Funky Dineva interview if we don't get down in the mess just a little bit. Because the people got
this wasn't the mess already?
No, this wasn't the mess. This was the classy light stuff. But we got to play in the mess a little tastefully. We got to play it now. Now, you know, when I asked that question about fault, would it be fair to say that Martell's cheating scandal was the catalyst for just all of this? Is that a fair statement?
I don't think so.
Okay.
My answer is no.
Okay.
I think because we're on a TV show, it doesn't help because he's sensitive.
Okay.
And I think it was a little bit more than he was able to handle. Like I said, we were starting to have our own issues before the show started. Yeah. Be very clear. Yeah. And that did not have anything to do with Martell. Yeah. Okay. That's just me. That's my opinion. So I don't think that's where it started. That's my opinion.
That was just the excuse.
That just kind of snowballed into a bigger problem.
That was the excuse used for what the real problem was.
Now, let me ask this question because I have had several phone conversations with the other young lady that he was in an entanglement with. And she said that she has been in the company of Marsau before, like that she knows him, they know, and they know who she is. As wives, how does it make you guys feel knowing that both of your husbands may have potentially kept this secret, aided and abetted the mistress, knew about her? Like, how does that make you feel? Because she said she definitely knows Marsau. She says he knows her and she knows him. Okay.
I was upset because I did not know about this either. And I questioned my husband, what the hell is she talking about? And he explained to me when they went on the trip to Atlanta, they was all in the club together, and that was his first time meeting her. Well, he didn't say first time. He said they met her there. And then with her apparently at the house party that her and Martell met at, Marsau was also at that house party as well. So I definitely questioned him about what's going on, why is she saying this, and I need some answers. So yeah.
So Maurice didn't go to them parties.
He was in Atlanta.
She said, I got a good man.
But look, at the end of the day, she worked at a club here. That's where the club
I forgot about the club here.
It was just a club here that she worked at.
Okay.
That they would go to.
They used to go to the club all the time.
So she know half of Huntsville, trust me.
Okay.
They all went to this particular club.
Okay.
I've never met her. She could be sitting right here in Latisha, and I've never met her. No. But the guys, she says she knows all of it. And none of them have denied that they know her. I mean, because they all went to the club.
So, Tisha, before we get out of here, season 1, there just felt like there was this reluctance for Marsau to cuss Martell out, right? It's like, you saying I'm out there cheating, you causing issues with me and my wife, saying I'm out there with 20 women, and even you pulled this card one time and say, like, why aren't you saying anything? Like, why? Even at the reunion, you were mad. You were saying, why are you letting him say this? And I'm going to be honest with you, as the viewer, I felt like he gave you a half-ass excuse, talking about, I just don't want to wallow down in the dirt with them and everything doesn't deserve a response. I'm gonna be honest with you, watching it felt like Martell knows where some bodies are buried and Marsau did not want to stir him up too much because he didn't want him to unearth those bodies. And even Miss Wanda said it might not be 20, but it might be 1. What are your thoughts about that? Because Marsau definitely feels like he holds back when it comes to checking Martell.
So I know my husband. I've been married to him for 14 years. He's a businessman. The only 2 people I have ever heard anything about him having any type of infidelity issue has been out of Martell mouth and male mouth. Huntsville is this big.
Get in the frame.
Why? And I know Marsau, if he loses cool, he loses cool. So he's a businessman. He has a lot on the line. He has to keep his cool. So me knowing Martell and me knowing my husband, should I believe somebody that has proven himself to be a liar? Or my husband, whom I never had to worry about this issue with ever before?
What about your mama? You believe Miss Wanda?
I know my mama. My mama can keep it real. I
Right.
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 She's gonna tell me, Tisha, don't you be nobody's fool. And I'm nobody's fool. I was raised by my mom. So the girl, I have book sense, I also have common sense, I also have street sense. So I'm nobody's fool. But it's like I know who I'm married to.
And I'm gonna tell you, in 14, 15, 2014, was it 18 when we was at Latisha House? I forget. We was at this little restaurant. I've only known Marsau to take his jacket off one time, and he said, "Don't let the smooth suit fool you." Literally, he keeps his cool, and he's by definition not one to start stuff. He will respond to stuff and try to get it out of the way, try to whatever. And in all fairness, that was part of our dilemma when I call myself coming to their defense. I'm like, I'm fighting harder for you than you fighting for you. And I'm saying this was before a camera, this was before anything. I'm like, I'm fighting harder, you're better than you fighting. And he was like, I'm good. I said, well, if you good, then I'm good. I'm not gonna keep fighting something that you good on. So that's not a TV for me, in my opinion.
You have to know him. You have to know
He's just not gonna. I imagine by the time he like guard your grill and knuckle up, it's too late.
It's too late. I get it.
I'm not concerned with that at all. I'm good.
Well, you know.
On the other hand, he'll toss you up.
He'll toss you up. Well, you know, we can't have our attorney out there fighting, so he the one that got to get us out of jail. He's the one got to get us out of jail. Ladies, I have really enjoyed this time with y'all. I really have. And Kimmi, Tisha, I was telling Kimmi, when Black opens, I expect to be on the list.
100. You will be.
I don't want to be escorted out.
We don't have security there.
I want to be at the table with Miss Wanda and some brown liquor.
Look, we're not going to escort you out. We're going to pull a charade where your name just not on the
That's
list.
going to be on the list. Ladies, tell everybody what you got going on and where they can find you.
Well, for me, you can find me across all social media platforms at Latisha M. Scott. Your girl is busy around here. I have a lot going on. I have 3 whole kids, and I'm doing virtual teaching right now. So pray for me, please. But, we have some projects going around town. Follow us on social media. I know people want to see more of what we're building, what we're developing. And that's what we're showcasing everything on our social media platform. Also, please download the Mommy Business Podcast. It's a great podcast. It's for moms and business owners. If you've ever felt lost in life or you're confused, you're trying to rediscover yourself, listen to the podcast.
Tisha, send me the links. Send me the links to it. I'll put the link in the description box of this video so people can just click when they go back and rewatch the video. Kimmi, you?
I'm gonna give her a little more minute because she wants to tell you.
I'm sorry.
She wants to tell you about some shirts she's selling. So I'm gonna give her some more time.
We didn't talk about Black Cigar Lounge.
Oh, well, let's talk about it.
Follow Black Cigar Lounge on social media as well.
When y'all gonna be open?
Huh?
When are y'all looking to be open?
In the fall.
In the fall. Okay.
Yep. So and follow our social media. We're definitely gonna put all that information on there. We have our little black sweatshirts that we sell it too.
Now, are y'all gonna have food or it's just gonna be cigar and liquor?
It's gonna be a lounge, but we're definitely gonna have topless food.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, that's cool.
Our main focus is cigar and liquor, but we have to have food. So
okay. But that's cute. So people don't get too drunk. They get a little bite to eat,
Right.
Okay.
So I'm Kimmi Grant Scott on Facebook. And I'm Kimmi_KLS on Twitter and on Instagram. And I would love for y'all to follow me. I don't talk about all the stuff I do because y'all get bored with my stuff. I talk about my family and my boo thing.
She said,
I like to cook. And so you can always go to thekimzone.com. I put my recipes up there and stuff that I do over there, and I'll send Courtney Looney for that.
Send me that as well. And that'll be it. Ladies, when I don't leave, I'm going to hit end this broadcast, and we're going to continue to talk. Funky Bunch, y'all wanted me to interview the Scott sisters. Y'all wanted me to ask the mess. We got down to the bottom of it. Kimmi ain't nobody's side chick. Tisha says she don't believe her man is sleeping with nobody in Huntsville. And the conclusion is Miss Wanda just messy, and we just got to deal with it. All right? That's just what it is. This has been an amazing interview, Funky Bunch. Y'all say goodbye to the ladies. Ladies say y'all say goodbye to the Funky Bunch. And we have to do this again soon.
Absolutely.